Welcome to another edition of the Players Corner. Today's guest hails from Seaford, Virginia, and she played her collegiate field hockey at Old Dominion University from 2015 to 2018. She's been a member of the U.S. Women's National Team since 2019. She won a gold medal at the Hockey Fives Pan American Cup in 2023, and recently competed at the FIH Hockey Nations Cup, where the U.S. finished fourth. Please welcome to the Players Corner, Kealsie Reeb.
Kat asked, how often do you guys strength train versus cardio train in a week?
So that typically varies throughout what season we're in or what we're building towards. And so right now we're actually in a pretty heavy physical block. And so right now we lift typically, and this is quite normal, 3 times a week. And then we're conditioning about 3 times a week right now as well. But usually my husband and I do a little fun run on the weekend. So I would say 3 to 4 conditionings and 3 strength trainings. Yeah.
Nice. So Eden asked, what is it like being both a coach and a player?
I love that question because I think coaching I've coached for Queens Field Hockey for the past 4 years, and it's been super sweet. Kind of also just getting a perspective of the coach, I think has been really eye-opening as a player. Yeah, just putting myself in their position, honestly respecting a lot more of what they do and the hard decisions that they have to make. And so, yeah, just being able to empathize, um, yeah, with the coaching. So
So now we're going to jump into the actual questions. And we're going to start with the player's least question, which is, can you describe yourself without mentioning field hockey?
Yes. So I would say that I'm a believer. I am a wife, a sister, a daughter. I love doing things outside and being active. I love spending time with people that I love. And yeah, just enjoying going after the grind while also finding times to rest well. Yeah, and just finding little adventures. Um, I love to travel a lot, so that's a big part. Yeah.
So in high school, along with field hockey, you played lacrosse, soccer, and also did track. What made you choose to pursue specifically field hockey?
I would say that field hockey is the sport that I probably love the most, and the other ones I did because I had so many sisters, and they all did the sports, and so I did it with them. I wouldn't say that I was very gifted at the other ones, um, and yeah, I love being a multi-sport athlete. I think that is something huge for being in competitive sports because I think it opens your eyes to tactics that can to keeps your body healthy. Yeah, as I said, grows your mind and sports in general. So yeah, I love being a multi-sport athlete.
So most goalkeepers have a kind of fun goalkeeping backstory. I feel like not many people have just like, oh, I wanted to be a goalkeeper. So do you have a fun goalkeeping backstory?
Um, Probably. I mean, we in rec, like in seventh, I was think maybe like sixth grade is when I started playing, and we were playing indoor rec, and everyone had to take turns being the goalkeeper. And at that time, I really loved playing soccer, and so it was just really fun to use my feet, and so I enjoyed it. And then I also have a twin, and so it naturally worked out where we got to play the same sport but not compete, and so it was nice. But yeah, I guess that's kind of mine. I liked using my feet, so yeah.
I like that. Did you ever consider pursuing any of the other sports you played in college, or were you like, if I'm going to pursue something, it's going to be field hockey?
I think by the time I got to like my freshman and sophomore year, I was pretty set on field hockey. Yeah, it's the one that felt most natural. It's the one that I enjoyed playing and played every weekend and extra all the time. So yeah, yeah.
So your first national team cap came back in 2018. Do you remember anything about that day?
Yes. So it was in the middle of my senior year in college, and my coach let me travel with the national team because they needed another goalkeeper for their tour to Japan. And so it was my first time ever in Asia, first time traveling with the national team. But yeah, it was a really sweet experience. I'm pretty sure it was the Asian Champion Trophy, but I got to, yeah, sub in and get my first cap and in a different country representing my nation. And yeah, it was a really sweet experience. Yeah.
Sometimes we ask and they're like, I blacked out. And I'm like, okay.
No, I was playing at that time when I joined the team. I was with athletes like I called her Poppy, but like Kat Sharkey, Caitlin Van Sickle, and those girls, and it was just yeah, they're inspiring players, and it was a really sweet experience.
So during your time at Old Dominion, you played with former national team member Danielle Grega. Can you talk a little bit about your time playing together in college and then what it was like to go on to represent your country together on the national team?
Yeah, I love Grega. So I call her Grega. People call her Danny. Anyone in college calls her Grega. But yeah, it was really sweet to have an experience of 3 years in college playing together and then getting to join the national team together. She was one of the first people I lived with joining the team, and just like having someone that felt like family when I first got on the team was really sweet. Yeah.
And then what's your favorite memory from playing at Old Dominion?
Probably playing with my twin. So we both went to college together, and we played at ODU together. And that was it's always really sweet to play with family. And so our senior day was really sweet, but really, yeah, special moment for me. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the national team specifically, starting with Hockey Fives. What was the experience like playing at the Hockey Fives Pan American Cup?
The Pan American Cup was in Jamaica. Yes. That was really, really sweet because we had a mixture of some girls on the senior team and mixture of girls on like U21s or development team. And just to like kind of have a group together that came together and was able to win gold. And I think the men also won gold at that tournament. So just to be able to like celebrate USA being first in both sides of that tournament was really exciting and sweet. Yeah, it was really fun. It's a different game, and it's really exciting as a goalkeeper because the ball never really goes out, and so it's a lot more action. But yeah, it was awesome.
So you got to play in the inaugural Hockey Fives World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it like playing in essentially a brand new sport in a
Mm-hmm.
sense at the world stage in like the first ever World Cup for it?
Yeah. Oman was very, very sweet because they did such a great job of putting on that tournament and just celebrating like the beginning of that version of hockey. Yeah, it was incredible. They did a great job for like we had opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies. We had just a lot of support around the building of like this inaugural games. Yeah, and just to have the majority of the same group from Jamaica come back and play, it was really sweet too, to just kind of continue to build and grow as a team. Yeah.
How does preparing for Hockey Fives differ from, say, preparing for a game with the national team in regular matches?
Yeah. I feel like I still go through my same mental prep and physical prep as a goalkeeper. It's a little bit different because you have to stay turned on for Hockey Fives. And just because this field is so much smaller, the ball never really goes out. So you have to be ready at any moment. But yeah, I would say it's still hockey and still prepping in the same ways to physically be ready to play at the international level, whatever it is. Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to kind of transition to the Nations Cup.
Hmm.
So Chile hosted the Nations Cup this year. What
Mhm.
was kind of like the atmosphere in the not arena, the stadium?
Yeah. So playing Chile in Chile is really special because they have a lot of passion for their sport and their home country. And so it's a really cool experience. The crowd is loud and exciting. And it is our goal to quiet them in a fun way. But yeah, it's a really, really special experience to play a home country in their home nation. So yeah, it was really exciting. There was a lot of crowds, a lot of people, a lot of chants. But yeah.
A couple of players celebrated career milestones during the Nations Cup, and we know from some prior interviews that the team has some fun ways of celebrating. What were the celebrations for these milestones like on this tour?
Mm-hmm. I believe it was Kelly and Emma. Shout out to two amazing players that got their 50th cap. And Reese got her first cap. But usually for the 50th, for the first cap, we do just present like a presentation, and we always pick a fun old picture of when they were really young and how they play now. And then for the 50th cap, we had Emma and Kelly, and we did a Jeopardy on like their whole lives. And so the whole team had to pick different like 100 score points, 100 score points of different brackets of things about them, things about Maryland, because they both played there. Yeah, and we just got to do a whole little Jeopardy on each of them. It was really fun. Yeah.
How do you pick a youth photo of Reese when she's literally like a baby?
Honestly, I can't remember which photo they picked, but yeah, she's a special player. She's incredible. Yeah, also so young. Yeah, she's awesome.
So one of the matches in this tournament was postponed by a national power outage, which is definitely a new one for us.
Yeah.
So how did you guys kind of work to adjust to because you guys were supposed to play a night match and instead you wound up playing like a midday match. How did you
Yeah.
guys adapt to the time adjustment?
Yeah, so we were on the bus. So our bus got delayed. We were prepared to to leave 2 hours earlier than we had planned to make sure we beat the traffic. Because games were technically still going on at the time, so we were under the impression we just have to get to the stadium. And then our bus came. We got on the bus to go to the game, probably cutting a little bit too close to game time, but we were like still under the impression that the game was going to go on and just maybe be delayed. And then we turn around, they tell us the game is now canceled, postponed to the next day. So we turn around, come back. We all go run upstairs, put our gym clothes on, and we do a heart rate spike through a giant park in Chile. And so that way we can keep consistent with what we have planned, like physically, for our bodies, to make sure we got our heart rate spike that day. So we did like a whole sprint small session at dusk at like sunset in a park in Chile. Yeah, and then just made sure that we had been adjusting to play for late games that started at 9:30. So that night we made sure like to get to bed early so that we could wake up earlier to prepare. Because previously we had been going to bed, trying to get to bed around like midnight to practice like what it would be like to come home after a game and then wake up late. So we had to just adjust our sleep schedules. Yeah, and then just played in the sun. We had practice in a scrimmage. Our coaches prepared us for it well. And so, yeah, and then we just played the game. So, yeah.
Was there anything specific that you wanted to improve from your own game during the Nations Cup?
Always. Yeah, probably Chile is a very scrappy team, so just continuing to work on those ultimate saves and those second, third rebounds is always something that a goalie, desires, and working towards making like ultimate saves. Yeah.
Overall, how do you think the experience at the Nations Cup will benefit the team going forward?
I think it was a really sweet tournament where we got to have a lot of younger players and newer players come in, and a majority of like our group that had been together. And so just it was kind of the first tournament where we all really officially came together. And so just using that as like a foundational step towards where we were going and where we want to, like what we want to achieve. Yeah.
All right, so the next section is kind of like generalized USA field hockey.
Fun.
I try to split them into like categories that make sense in my head, and then I'm like mid-interview and I'm like, what is this category supposed to be? But it's fine. So, what do you think has been some of the benefits for the national team having centralized in Charlotte?
Wow, I love Charlotte. Charlotte is officially my home. And it would be probably even after field hockey because I think the city supports the desires of playing sport after college in regards to having educational opportunities, having career opportunities, being able to have community and support outside of just field hockey. I think it's a great city to be centralized in, and having a centralized program allows us to have a home where we can come back and reset and build for going out and competing in these events.
Okay. Can you talk sorry, can you talk about what it is like to work with the other goalkeepers on the squad?
Mm-hmm. It's really fun. I think we have a really fun dynamic where everyone has. I think goalkeepers always have a fun, different personality. And Jenny and Kealsie are some of the sweetest people, and just having. I think it's really special to have a relationship where you can compete and still support each other. And so, yeah, we like to go hard and we like to laugh. And so, yeah, it's a really sweet relationship.
What is something you wish that people, whether field hockey fans or just like general people, knew about the USA field hockey squad?
Um, about the USA Field Hockey Squad, how intentional these women are and how hard they work, I would say. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes for being just a holistic, like professional athlete, including the team of just the culture that we build to have a balance of, yeah, competing while also taking care of yourself and just like a safe environment to compete at a high level. And it's a family. And so it's really sweet. Yeah.
What are you most excited about going forward with the national team as you prepare for the future?
I'm excited for the opportunities that we have ahead of us and for the group and just the hard work that we're putting in at the beginning of this cycle and just what we can achieve in the future. Um, I'm really excited for the opportunity that we have moving forward and just to continue building as a group and setting our foundation right now in the first part of the cycle and then just taking off. Yeah.
And then last two questions before we get to the fun questions are just about your career at Queens, or your coaching career, I should say.
Mhm.
So previously you mentioned that you're a coach at Queens University. How do you think that coaching has kind of changed your perspective of the game?
I think it opens my eyes similarly, like I said previously, of just like what it takes to be a coach and the pressures and the highs and lows of that, of like caring for your players and like caring for their development, and then the hard side of selection and all of that, and just really empathizing with. I think as an athlete, we know the grind of it, and just realizing like the different type of grind it is to be a coach. And there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes. So just a lot of respect for my coaching staff, and also just how it opens my eyes to whenever you teach something, you have to know it better. And so having to coach consistently, and I coach goalkeepers, I also coach like defensive structures and all different kinds of things. And so just really enjoying learning and really becoming an expert in different parts of field hockey. So yeah, it's been sweet.
What has been your favorite coaching memory so far?
I think my senior day with the girls last year was really sweet because it was my first full cycle of players. So they were my first freshmen. And just to celebrate them and see them develop over the past 4 years, and having to say goodbye, I think is hard, and it's very different being the coaching side of that in college. Um, I think that was one of my favorite memories, of just celebrating them and seeing them develop and kind of like leave the nest. But yeah, bittersweet.
All right, so now we're going to get to the rapid fire fun questions. Even
Oh, fun.
the questions are fun.
Okay.
So what book are you currently reading or show are you currently binging?
Um, book I'm reading textbooks because I'm in my MBA class, and I'm watching House of David on Amazon Prime.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Yes.
What is your coffee order?
So I actually make my own little espresso every morning, and I like to do like an iced flat white. Yeah.
Do you have any game day superstitions?
No.
Favorite teammate to room with?
Ooh, I will pick my last roommate, Sana, because she always rooms with goalkeepers, and I feel like she has a deep appreciation for them. And so, yeah, I love her. It was just her birthday.
Do you think you can pull an Alyssa Nair and score on an offensive penalty?
I'm gonna go with no. I would trust my field players way more than I trust myself. I would want to, but I would trust them way more than I trust myself. Yeah.
Shootouts or strokes?
Shootouts. Yeah.
Favorite warm-up songs?
Mm, Forrest Frank, just the artist. I listen to his albums all the time. Yeah.
Favorite place you have traveled to for field hockey?
New Zealand. It's a beautiful country. Yeah.
All right.
I think we get that one a lot. I think a lot of
Yeah.
other people said New
It's
Zealand.
New Zealand, and if they did the Junior World Cup, it's South Africa.
Yeah.
That is always the answer.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been so much fun. Thank you so much, Kealsie, for joining us. I have absolutely no clue who next week's guest is, but it will probably be on our Instagram at some point. Thanks for watching and see you guys next week.
Mm.